Lester, that's right. It was an illuminating first day of court. Combs entered the courtroom wearing a crew neck sweater and a white button-down shirt. He had some gray in his hair and in his goatee. And at one point, he told the judge that he needed to use the bathroom and that he was feeling a little bit nervous. Now, also, several celebrities were named today, although they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. They might be mentioned during the course of the trial. Their names are Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, Kanye West, and his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura.
It starts by saying, quote, "There is no longer any dispute that the CNN footage from March 5th, 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel, offered by the government at 3 separate bail hearings, is wholly inaccurate, having been altered, manipulated, sped up, and edited to be out of sequence."
You won't believe what just happened in court. Diddy is now being accused of lying under oath. That's right. Just weeks before his federal trial, Diddy's team claimed a shocking twist. The video of him dragging Cassie in a hotel, they say it's fake. But here's the catch. Diddy already admitted it was real and even posted a public apology. So why change his story now?
Difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, and go into rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Request from the court is to hold a hearing, and at this hearing, Combs explains that his team wants to call a forensic video analysis named Connor McCourt to show that this video evidence is inaccurate. Sean Combs' defense team argues the videos are unreliable, that they would unfairly confuse and mislead the jury, that they would be more prejudicial to Combs than it would provide any kind of relevant or probative value for the prosecution's case. They write, quote, "If a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth a number well over the court's word limit." Again, the basic argument from Combs and his team is that CNN heavily and deceptively edited the video and turned about 10.5 minutes of footage into a 48-second, quote, out-of-order clip that ended with Combs appearing to drag redacted, again, we believe that to be Cassandra Ventura, to a hotel room. And they argue that this painted the rapper and the music mogul in the worst possible light for the world to see. And as they previously incorrectly mentioned, prosecutors relied on this tape in prior bail hearings to support their argument that Combs shouldn't be released pre-trial.
Court records show Diddy's apology disappeared right before the trial, and his lawyers are now trying to block the video from being used. They argue the footage was edited and can't be trusted, but many see this move as pure damage control. The jury is watching closely, and some already believe Diddy's playing games to dodge justice. Even worse, Cassie is stepping into the courtroom as a key witness, and what she's ready to say could change everything. But that wasn't the whole story. The next move Diddy made in court left everyone stunned. Just when things couldn't get more intense, Diddy made a bold decision. He turned down a plea deal from the feds. According to court reports, the government offered him a chance to admit guilt in exchange for a lighter sentence, but Diddy refused. He told the judge flat out, "I'm going to trial." This shocked many, considering the serious charges he's facing: racketeering, sex and more. If found guilty, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. Legal experts say rejecting that deal was risky. The Southern District of New York, the team prosecuting him, has a 97% conviction rate. That means they rarely lose.
Allegations implicate dozens of unidentified witnesses and alleged co-conspirators around the world, and some of the key witnesses to the supposed incidents are dead. Basically meaning, how can we defend against it? The defense is not even permitted to share the identities of the individuals described in the disclosure letter with Mr. Combs until April 18th, further hampering defense counsel's ability to investigate. Collectively, these new allegations require many months, if not years, to investigate, and if admitted, would require a series of mini-trials certain to double the length of a trial the government originally said would last 3 weeks. So this is an explosive allegation that on its face, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with. If they are bringing in evidence of uncharged conduct, wouldn't the defense have an opportunity to investigate it and challenge it? It seems like they're making a point. So if this evidence is allowed in, there is a chance this could delay the trial significantly. We all know Combs wants to go to trial, but how can he properly defend himself against this in just a few weeks?
And the evidence stacked against Diddy, it's massive, including hours of graphic video footage, damning witness testimonies, and claims from his own inner circle. But Diddy's legal troubles didn't stop there, because what happened next shows just how messy his defense team has become. As the trial nears, Diddy's defense team is falling apart right in front of him. One of his top attorneys, Anthony Rico, suddenly quit the case, saying he could no longer represent Diddy under any circumstances. That's a serious red flag. Even worse, the powerful law firm that had backed Diddy for over 20 years also dropped him. Rumors say big-name clients like Lady Gaga threatened to leave the firm if they didn't cut ties with Diddy. Now, Diddy is scrambling to rebuild his defense team just days before trial. And with the pressure mounting, his lawyers are trying a new strategy, claiming Diddy was too drunk or high to know what he was doing. They filed a motion saying drugs and alcohol affected his mental state, hoping to reduce the impact of the charges. But prosecutors aren't buying it. They're pushing back hard, saying this is just another excuse to avoid taking responsibility. And what happened next inside the courtroom left everyone speechless. In court, Diddy's team tried everything to keep the Cassie video out. They claimed it was edited, sped up, and taken out of order by CNN. They even said the original footage was destroyed, making it unreliable. But prosecutors came prepared. They argued that the video is real, raw evidence of abuse, and that Diddy's sudden denial only proves he's trying to hide the truth. The judge sided with the prosecution, allowing the video to be shown during the trial. That means the jury will watch the footage of Diddy dragging Cassie through the hotel, right there in court. And that's not all. More disturbing videos, collected from his Miami mansion, will also be played. Some were pulled straight from surveillance, and sources say there are hundreds of hours of footage. This evidence could turn the entire trial against him. And just when Diddy thought it couldn't get worse, Cassie made a move that shocked everyone watching the case unfold. Cassie isn't staying silent. She's taking the stand, using her real name. Unlike the other alleged victims who will testify anonymously, Cassie is stepping into the spotlight, ready to face Diddy in court. She dated him for 11 years. She saw everything, and now she's prepared to tell it all. Her testimony could be the most powerful moment in the entire trial. Cassie is not just a former girlfriend. She's a public figure with her own following. Her courage to testify openly adds weight to her claims, and prosecutors are counting on her to tie everything together, from the abuse in that hotel video to what went on behind closed doors during their long relationship. For Diddy, this is a nightmare. He can't discredit her like he could an anonymous witness. When she looks him in the eye and speaks her truth, the jury will be watching every reaction. But even more shocking, what the jury is being asked to watch next could ruin Diddy's defense completely. Jurors are now being asked if they're comfortable watching Diddy's so-called freak-off tapes, hours of graphic footage allegedly showing drug-fueled parties involving multiple victims. These tapes were seized during the raids on Diddy's homes and are a key part of the government's case. According to sources, the footage doesn't just show disturbing acts, it reveals the power and control Diddy held over the people around him. Prosecutors believe the tapes prove the trafficking charges, and they plan to show parts of the footage in open court, right in front of the victims and the jury. It's an emotional, uncomfortable situation, but the judge ruled it's necessary for the case.
I wanted to ask you that I found fascinating is that Diddy reportedly yesterday asked that judge for a bathroom break, telling the judge, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous today. Were you surprised that he admitted that? And what do you think that reveals about him ahead of opening statements?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The fact that we are going to trial in under a year from when a defendant is arrested and indicted at the federal level doesn't happen. But Combs has been pushing towards this trial date. He doesn't want to spend one more day in federal lockup. Having said that, you're now at this case, and the government, this is the Southern District of New York, they don't move forward with the case unless they feel they have the goods. He's looking at not only life in prison, and the maximum charge, but potentially decades in prison. The third charge that he's facing, transportation to engage in prostitution, that can carry 10 years in prison, and some argue that's the most straightforward charge to actually convict him on. So I think he's feeling the weight of what's happening. Jury selection, a panel of his peers coming in to decide his fate. it is real right now for him.
They're all going to know who Sean Combs is, but they're going to need to find jurors who, despite the fact that they are familiar with Diddy, they still can be fair.
Diddy's lawyers argued that playing the videos would confuse the jury and unfairly damage his image, but the court disagreed, calling the tapes crucial evidence. And if that wasn't enough, prosecutors just revealed something else that made the courtroom go silent. Prosecutors dropped another bombshell. They revealed Diddy was offered a plea deal and a chance to reduce his sentence by naming others involved, but he refused to cooperate. According to court documents, the deal would have required Diddy to admit guilt and expose his alleged co-conspirators, some of whom are still unidentified and possibly powerful. But Diddy said no. He'd rather roll the dice in court than turn on the people around him.
Developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both women and men for decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that accused him of coercing alleged victims into prolonged, drug-fueled sexual activity that he called freak-offs and threatening them into silence.
This decision raised eyebrows. Some say he's trying to protect his brand, while others believe he's afraid of the consequences that might come from exposing his network. Either way, the prosecution sees his refusal as another sign that he's more focused on image than truth. And while Diddy keeps denying all charges, the government isn't backing down. In fact, they've been preparing for this case for months, and what they've uncovered behind the scenes could bring even more people down. But the next move from Diddy's team shows just how desperate things have gotten. With the walls closing in, Diddy's legal team made a surprising move. They claimed that all the evidence collected during the raids was illegal. His lawyers argued that federal agents overstepped their boundaries when they searched his homes, iCloud accounts, and hotel rooms. They filed a motion to suppress everything, saying the search warrants were too broad and based on misleading information. But prosecutors fired back, saying the raids followed proper legal steps and were supported by credible evidence. They also revealed that many of the witnesses agreed to speak only after learning they were caught on the tapes. That's how powerful the video evidence is. It made people come forward who had stayed silent for years. Even with all this, Diddy's team keeps trying to delay the trial, but the judge isn't buying it. He denied their request to push the trial back 2 months, and as the clock ticks down, one final witness could seal Diddy's fate. That final witness is none other than Victim 1, a key figure in the case. Even if she didn't want to testify, the government made it clear, this is a criminal trial, not a civil case. That means the state can force her to take the stand, and she's not alone. Dozens of other witnesses are lined up, many testifying anonymously, but all connected by one thing, the tapes.
Jury sits. Will they be shown these tapes?
100%.
Will they have to watch it in court? Like during the...
100% in court in front of a room of people. And so that's the other thing that's awful. They are going to be watching basically for hours on end in front of people. So in front of Victim 1, whoever it may be, there's going to be played in the federal courtroom.
And Victim 1 would have been made aware of this?
Oh, 100%. She's probably being told right now, like, this is going to be played in open court. Your sex history, your sex life is going to be talked about in open court. All of this.
And presumably then she knows that and she's pushing forward because she hasn't withdrawn.
But don't forget this. It doesn't matter if she does or she doesn't. This isn't a civil case. This is the criminal case. So she could flat out tell the federal government, I don't want to participate. And they can say, we don't care. This is a crime. Crimes are against the United States, not against them. Keep calling her Victim 1, but don't forget, she's a witness to a crime. So it doesn't matter if she went to them in today and said, I'm not participating. Their response, we don't care. Get you.
These aren't just random stories. Prosecutors say they've interviewed hundreds of people and narrowed it down to those they know will help them win. And they're not guessing either. The Southern District of New York has a 97% conviction rate. That means they're confident in their case. Some of the people involved are celebrities, staff, and even hotel workers who allegedly helped cover things up. Others are said to be victims who stayed quiet for years until now. But just when you think it can't get any worse for Diddy, his courtroom moment with Cassie is right around the corner. Now, all eyes are on the moment that could break Diddy's Diddy's entire defense when Cassie takes the stand and faces him in court. She's not hiding behind a screen or an alias. She's going to sit there under oath and tell the jury everything she witnessed during her 11-year relationship with him. That includes the abuse, the control, and what she allegedly saw at those parties. This is the moment prosecutors have been preparing for. Cassie's testimony could be the emotional anchor of the trial. She's well known, respected by many, and has already shown bravery by going public. While other victims are protected by anonymity, Cassie's willingness to speak out with her real name adds even more weight to her story.
All right, Cassie, she plans to testify against Diddy at the trial, and she's going to use her name. So a lot of the women who have accused Diddy are anonymous. They're
Right.
Jane Doe
Does.
or Victim
Or
1.
John Does.
Or John Does. But Cassie allegedly, apparently, is going to take this stand and talk about her. Obviously, that tape of him beating her up at the hotel is what set off this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, this has just made it matters so bad for Diddy. So now that she is gonna sit up there and like look him square in the eyes and talk about her side of the story, that's not great for Diddy, obviously.
No, and like I think also Cassie is a celebrity, right? Like millennials know who she was or is. She had like a booming career back in the day. So I think it also adds some extra zhuzh when you have like a well-known public figure coming forward.
Trusted public figure.
Trusted and beloved too. So I think that also will hurt him. She of course became public. All of this went public when that video came out from CNN. So it's been revealed who she is already, and now she is not looking to conceal her name. She wants to, put it all out on the table. And yeah, yikes, it could be really bad.
And for Diddy, seeing her on the stand could be the moment it all unravels. The jury isn't just hearing rumors, they're watching videos, hearing from victims, and seeing the fallout in real time. Even his own lawyers are quitting. With each passing day, Diddy's chances are shrinking, and the truth is getting harder to escape. This trial is far from over, and the next few weeks could change everything, not just for Diddy, but for everyone involved in his world. If you've been following this case closely, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Diddy can survive this? Don't forget to like the video and hit subscribe, because the next twist is coming fast, and you won't want to miss it.